Good morning, friends. So another beautiful day on the Huon. So I wanted to, firstly I wanted to thank people for joining my channel. It hit 1,000 subscribers just recently. And I want to thank anyone who's ever shared anything from the channel and who's left comments and supported it. I realize sometimes my style can be a little bit, probably a little frustrating, because sometimes I can meander off. I kind of meander around topics, and sometimes I over-explain and I can repeat myself. But I try to do my bit to sort of push forward some of the independent journalists that are doing their best to bring some sort of a truth to a system that is riddled with propaganda now, right-wing propaganda, and that includes some commentators who claim to be on the left, pushing right-wing talking points about China. But most importantly, I started this channel 3 years ago, February 2017, because I don't know, I was feeling quite, what's the word? Well, quite frustrated, but also somewhat depressed about the state of the media. The mainstream media was just pushing, just ignoring war and pushing national security state talking points. And there was so few on the left. Were actually getting any traction, and that's where you and I come in, sort of pushing forward their stories and their articles. This is independent journalists who are presenting real facts and pushing against the imperialist warmongering. But I was 3 years ago, I just felt this need to sort of, I don't know, I suppose signal boost some of these journalists like Abby Martin and whatever. And of course my effect is very limited, very, very limited, and also of course my strong position on veganism and why we need to be vegan. And I feel that's a very, very important thing that we all need to do. And I do my best. I don't know if I succeed, but I do my best to try and bring that home to people, why it's so important to be vegan. So that was the main driver, and then the other main driver soon after became the anti-imperialist, anti-war position that I'd had for many years, but that I just felt like, well, we should try and use whatever medium we can to push that, since there's so little of the push back against it. Anyway, that's really sort of why I do this. And also it's kind of like part of it is to be honest, is a very odd sort of almost like a documentation of the degradation of this sort of thing. Like it's almost a kind of weekly documentation of the decline of truth in media and the ramping up of warmongering, and also some other issues too that I every so often bring up, which I think, for me personally, all of this is important, but there are some issues that are personal that I feel quite disheartened about, and you can spot them when I talk about these. When I talk in my videos, you can spot what they are. So I think that resonates with some people, what I'm saying, and that's probably why you're following this channel. And I'm not sort of a learned person. Like I don't have a lot of knowledge about issues. I have some knowledge about a smattering of issues, and I try to keep up with some things, but there's a lot to keep up with, particularly since I'm Australian, and we got nothing here of any value from the mainstream media. And it was only in 2013 that I really came across Abby Martin's Breaking the Set, and then sort of my understanding of how messed up things are started from there. So it's really only been about 7 years that I've actually had an idea that things are messed up. I'm talking about now US politics and the warmongering that's going on there. I really didn't realize how bad things were until about 2013. Even though I marched against the Iraq War in 2003, I didn't know what a sorry state American politics were until I came across Breaking the Set and saw how corrupt everything was. And then I realized why things are the way they are in the world, with the kind of imperialist warmongering that's going on, and how corrupt things are in American politics, and including sort of voter suppression and all of that, electoral fraud. So I'm a late starter, but you know, if we all give our thoughts about things, and if it's pushing against war, that can only be a good thing. And I invite anybody who's listening, anybody who you know that is against war, is against imperialism and the destruction of people's countries, to start something, you know, to join in on protests, to start blogging about it, all that kind of thing. It can only be helpful in some way. The more people that do it, the more there's a push against war, push against imperialism, the better it is for everybody. Anyway, thanks once again for joining my channel and Faint Signals from Vega, and thanks for if you've ever shared anything. Thanks for any good thoughts on Twitter. A shout out to Tara Toddler on Twitter, who is very kind and always leaves supportive comments about Faint Signals from Vega. Thanks to Robbie Martin for his great insights into the right wing. He has to wade through all of that daily to sort of find out where things are going. He's done great documentaries called A Very Heavy Agenda, and it's got 3 parts so far, I think, and I think it's 3 parts, and he's doing a 4th. That's a great documentary. And of course, Empire Files and The Grey Zone, Mint Press News, Whitney Webb, all those different people, Max Blumenthal, Abby Martin, all of that, all those people who spend so much time pushing, you know, it's a real David and Goliath thing, really. So thanks again for watching. My name's Trish Roberts. You're watching Faint Signals from Vega. Till next time, keep safe, go vegan, bye for now.